Are you serious?
Hello, this is How to Kill an Hour. I'm Marcus Bronzy.
I'm Sean.
This is the show where Sean and I scour the internet and find new ways to kill time, not only in the world of the internet, but also in the real world as well. And also kind of a combination of both.
Mad.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? Get me? Because coming up, we've got an experience a live sporting event and also a virtual sporting event at the same damn time, which is it's pretty cool. Anyway, Sean and I like to kick off the show with jokes of the week. But before that, though, how are you today, Sean?
Oh, it's very kind of you to ask, man. Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. Not too bad. A bit on the tired side today, but getting that energy up. What about yourself?
I'm all right, you know, bro.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm knackered as well, bro.
Yeah.
But you know what's made me happy today? Seeing your face and telling these jokes.
Oh, I know that's absolute nonsense, but I'll take it.
It's a good lie, innit?
Yeah,
It sound like I read it?
Kind of, yeah.
Absolutely didn't. Okay, sure. Let's kick off.
Go on, you go first, mate.
Let's hope my reading isn't too bad. The day after Mr. Wilkins' wife vanished in a kayaking accident, he opened the door to find two very serious Alaska State Troopers standing before him. Mr. Wilkins, we regret to inform you that we have news regarding your wife, one trooper began. Tell me, did you find her? Mr. Wilkins blurted out anxiously. The troopers exchanged glances. One spoke. We have some bad news, some good news, and some fantastic news. Which would you like to hear first? Bracing himself, a pale Mr. Wilkins responded, give me the bad news. The trooper said, I'm sorry, sir, but we recovered your wife's body in the bay this morning. Oh no, gasped Mr. Wilkins. After a moment, he gathered himself and asked, so, what's the good news? The trooper explained, when we brought her up, she had 12 25-pound king crabs attached to her. We're confident that you're entitled to a share of the catch. Stunned, Mr. Wilkins says, if that's the good news, what's the fantastic news? With a straight face, the trooper replied, we're pulling her up again tomorrow. It's a dark one.
It is.
It's a dark one.
I didn't.
Did you see that coming?
No, I didn't. I wasn't sure that one was going to.
Okay, all right.
Okay, this is a short one.
Okay.
Johnny asked his grandpa, do you still have sex with Granny? Grandpa says, yes, but only oral. Johnny asks, what is oral? Grandpa says, I say fuck you. She replies, fuck you too. Oh, relationships.
Shout out to those that are doing it all the time. Oh, man. There was a man who unfortunately lost both of his testicles in a freak accident. Oh, by the way, Sean, this is a remix of one that you've told me I like. All right. Do you know it?
No, straight off the bat.
There was a man who unfortunately lost both of his testicles in a freak accident. Life had been rough for him, but luck took a strange turn when he was fast-tracked into a government job under the disability quota. On his first day, he showed up bright and early at the government office. As he approached his new supervisor's desk, the supervisor glanced up, raised an eyebrow, and noticed the guy didn't seem to have any apparent visible disability. Ah, you're the new guy. Welcome, said the supervisor, shuffling some papers around. Now, if you don't mind me asking, what exactly is your disability? The guy sighed, was a little embarrassed, but replied honestly, Well, I lost both my testicles in an accident. The supervisor gave a sympathetic nod and then thought for a moment. I see. Well, in that case, why don't you join us tomorrow? But you can start work at noon, after lunch, right? The man was puzzled. Noon? But why? Look, I know the official work hours start at 9 a.m. and just because I'm disabled doesn't mean I can't pull my weight, all right? I don't need any pity from you. The supervisor leaned back in his chair and chuckled softly. No. It's not about pity. It's just that, you see, we're government officials. And from 9 a.m. to noon, we do nothing but scratch our balls. Sorry. From 9 a.m. to noon, we do nothing but sit around but scratch our balls. Some days went by, and one day this guy received a phone call telling him to start work at 9. Sorry, boss, but why would I need to do that? I don't have any balls to scratch. Yeah, well, we've just hired a guy with no hands.
Oh.
Little remix on it. There you go, bro. There you go.
I vaguely remember the OG.
Yeah.
Vaguely. Oh, this is a short one. This did tickle me.
Go on.
While it may not be 12 inches long, it sure smells like a foot. Sorry.
Shout out to those with cheesy bits, boy. That's a right. All right, here's a good one. I hope you like this one. This one goes out to my blue collars, white collars as well. A woman in a hot air balloon realised she was lost. She reduced altitude and spotted a man below. She descended a bit more and shouted, "Excuse me, can you help me? I promised a friend I would meet him an hour ago, but I don't know where I am." The man below replied, "You're in a hot air balloon hovering approximately 30 feet above the ground. You're between 40 and 41 degrees north latitude and between 59 and 60 degrees west longitude. You're between 40 and 41 degrees north latitude and between 59 and 60 degrees west longitude. You must be an engineer," said the balloonist. "I am," replied the man. "How did you know?" "Well," answered the balloonist, "everything you told me is technically correct, but I've no idea what to make of your information, and the fact is I'm still lost. Frankly, you've not been much help at all. If anything, you've delayed my trip even more." The man responded, "Ah, you must be in management." "I am," replied the balloonist, "but how did you know?" "Well," said the man, "you don't know where you are or where you're going. You've chosen... Sorry. You don't know where you are or where you're going. You've risen to where you are due to a large quantity of hot air, and you made a promise to which you have no idea to keep, and you expect people beneath you to solve all of your problems." There you go, bruv. Little burn for my workers out there. There you go.
Managed. I remember there was back in the day, there was a sign in somewhere I used to work, and it just had like, like the stick figures that they would have on a road sign or something like that. Yeah. And it just said, "If all else fails, try management." And it just had a stick figure with his feet up. And I was like, yeah. Okay. Right. A couple returns from their honeymoon, refusing to speak to each other. The groom's best friend takes him aside and asks, "What's wrong?" "Well," replies the man, "when we finished making love on the first night, I put a $50 bill on the pillow without thinking." "Oh, you shouldn't worry about that too much," says his friend. "I'm sure your wife will get over it soon enough. She can't expect you to have been saving yourself all these years." "That's not the problem," the groom says. She gave me $20 change."
I got a shorter one now, which should help my lack of being able to read with my tiredness. "I was sitting on the sofa last night watching TV when my wife from the bedroom yelled, 'Do you ever get pains in your chest like someone's got a voodoo doll and they're stabbing it?' I replied, 'No.' There was a brief pause, and then she said, 'How about now?'"
Oh, relationships.
There you go.
This is a short one. This is a wordplay one, but I enjoyed it. An elderly couple, both widowed, discussed marriage after dating a while. They discussed finances, living arrangements, and finally they came upon the subject of marital relations. "How do you feel about sex?" the man asked. "I would like it infrequently," said the woman. The man leaned forward and asked, "Is that one word or two?" I like that one. Little Johnny
is attending the first day of his school sex education class. The teacher draws a penis on the blackboard and asks, "Who can tell me what this is?" Of course, Johnny raises his hand and says, "That's a penis. My dad has 2 of them." Incredulously, the teacher asks, "2 of them?" "Yeah," replies Johnny. "One he pees with and one he brushes my babysitter's teeth with."
Oh, little Johnny.
Out of the mouth of little Johnny.
What is he like? A woman, home alone, answers a knock at the door to a man who just stood there and asked, "Do you have a vagina?" She slams the door in disgust and tells her husband that night when he got home from work. The next morning, she answers a knock at the door, and it's the same man again, and he asks the same question. "Do you have a vagina?" Once again, she slams the door in his face. She immediately gets on the phone and rings her husband at work. He tells her he will take the day off tomorrow, just in case the man shows up a third time. The next morning, they hear a knock at the door and both make for the door. The husband whispers to his wife, "Honey, I'm going to hide behind the door and listen and see if it's the same guy. I want you to tell him yes to his question because I want to see where he's going with this." She nods a yes to her husband and opens the door. Sure enough, the same fellow is standing there. He asks, "Do you have a vagina?" "Yes, I do," says the lady. The man replies, Good, good. Would you mind telling your husband to leave my wife's alone and start using yours instead then?" Oh, my man was playing the long game.
He was. And a lot of time on his hands. A lot of time. Oh, man. Oh, a lot of time on his hands there, bruv. All right. Shout out to all of those with the vaginas out there as well. I don't know why I just did that. Anyway, cool. All right. Here's the number one. A famous physicist, an old man, and a Boy Scout are taking a tourist flight in a small plane. After reaching cruising altitude, the pilot suddenly has a heart attack. His last words before he dies are, "There are 2 parachutes over there. Good luck." Before they can even talk about how they'll divide the 2 parachutes between them, the physicist grabs hold of the straps of the package next to him, says, "The world needs smart people like me," and jumps out of the plane. Shocked, the old man says, "Well, lad, I've had my time. You take the other parachute." "We'll be okay," says the Boy Scout. "Mr. Genius just jumped out with my rucksack."
Fully deserved.
Yeah.
2 couples. Okay, I'm going to say that this is a bit of a twist on.
All right, cool.
2 couples are playing cards. John accidentally drops some cards on the floor. When he bends down under the table to pick them up, he notices that Bill's wife isn't wearing any underwear. Later, John goes into the kitchen to get some refreshments. Bill's wife follows him and asks, "Did you see anything that you liked under there?" John admits that he did. She says, "You can have it, but it will cost you $100. They decide that John should come. That's quite cheap. Low hanging fruit, Right. They decide that John should come to her house around 2 p.m. on Friday while Bill is at work. On Friday, John arrives at 2 p.m. He pays Bill's wife $100. They go to the bedroom, have sex, and then John leaves. When Bill comes home at 6 p.m., he asks his wife, "Did John come by this afternoon?" Reluctantly, she replies, "Yes, he did stop by for a few minutes." Bill then asks, "Did he give you $100? She thinks, "Oh, hell, he knows." Finally, she said, well, yes, he did give me $100. "Good," Bill says. "John came by my office this morning and borrowed $100 from me. He said that he would stop by our house on the way back."
You got it.
I'm going to say that's called doing the markers.
Absolutely not. Craig, can we cut that out, please? That is a smear campaign. Alex, that has to get cut out, bruv. Horrible.
All right. Composure. All right. "Good," Bill says. "John came by the office this morning and borrowed $100 from me. He said that he would stop by our house on his way home and pay me back." Oh, I totally screwed that one up.
I love this joke. I fucking love it. I love it. It's great. All right. Do you want to do that last line again, just in case? All right, go on.
Oh, wait. All right. "John came by the office this morning and borrowed $100 from me. He said that he would pay."
That's why I put the long ones first. That's why I have to put the long jokes first.
Okay. "John came by the office this morning and borrowed $100 from me. He said that he would stop by our house on his way home and pay me back."
Hey!
Finally.
"I bet my girlfriend oral sex that she couldn't beat me at arm wrestling. She won, and now she keeps rubbing my nose in it."
That's a brilliant one. That is a great one.
Lovely stuff.
I've not heard that one before. That is a great one.
For real?
Yeah. "My neighbour is a 90-year-old with Alzheimer's. I see him every morning and he asks me if I've seen his wife. Every day I have to tell this poor man that his wife died 20 years ago. I could have moved to another house or even ignore his question, but the look of joy in his eyes whenever I answer him is worth the weight in gold."
Shout out to our happily married crew. Those were our jokes
of the week.
All right, man. I think it's time for us to step on to our next part of the show, Sean, which is our killer bits. Basically, where we talk about how we've killed a little bit of time. So, Sean, the other day, Friday, I got a text message in saying, "Yo, do you want to go and watch the big fight?" And I was like, "Big fight?" After Google, I was like, "There's a big fight with AJ and Daniel Dubois."
Wait, were you not aware of this before?
I was kind of aware of it, but I wasn't. Like, just in case you're listening to this for the first time, Sean is way more into sports than me. I'm open to big sporting events, but I'm very clear about my ignorance. You get me? I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest sports fan, but I like to get involved and do whatever. So I was aware, but I wasn't like it wasn't on my list of things to do. I know there are guys that are like had the pay-per-view lockdown from time ago and all that kind of stuff. So then I messaged back saying, I don't want to sound ungrateful, but is it a standing? I didn't know whether boxing standing, is it standing or seating? Because I had a little bit of a bad back, whatever, just because, right? Is it seated, standing? Are we going to be in a box or whatever? Just out of curiosity. They said, it's just regular seating from what I've seen. So I thought, flip it out, whatever. I'll take a painkiller, get down there and stretch hero, and go to the box. So then I strolled the massive distance of 10 minutes on the train from the studio. No, I went up the road to Wembley because I'm from North West London. I went up the road to Wembley and went to Wembley Stadium. And I've got to say, lovely little stadium, like big stadium, lovely 95,000 capacity stadium. So I rolled up there. And because of boxing, one thing I just want to say, I wasn't sure what the atmosphere is going to be like. I know what football's like, I know what F1's like, I just had no idea. So I walk up, I'm like, is it going to be like fighty, a lot of guys that want to punch up, or is it going to be chill or whatever? And it's quite chilled. And I realised one of the cool things about boxing is that undercards, which are in case you're ignorant like I am, undercards like at the fights before the big fight, they start from 4 p.m. So people slowly filter in. Obviously, there's a massive rush before the main event.
And just to let people know, the main event is usually scheduled it was scheduled from around 10 p.m. That was what they were.
Yeah, it's a lot of boxing for your money.
Yeah.
You get me? So if you got there early and watched everything, that's quite a good bit of money, of entertainment. 6 hours, that's longer than a gig. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I went in there, walked around once, which took a long time. With my ticket, they're like, your ticket isn't accepted here, your ticket isn't accepted here, your ticket isn't accepted here. They were like, you need to go a bit further down. So I went a bit further down, did a little bit more, went a bit further down, found someone else, went a bit further down. I thought, hang on, I'm on the floor now, like far away. Walked around in a massive circle to get to my section, which was like section C. Got around to section C. I swear to God, Sean, I wasn't ringside. I was the section just behind the ringside seats.
So almost ringside?
Yeah. So like...
That's sick.
So in front of me was His Excellency, obviously the guy that put together the event, and a bunch of other dudes with Saudi money, you could say. Do you know what I mean? Like you could, bro.
Yeah.
The aftershave their man were wearing was smelling sweet in a way that I know I could never afford.
Oud.
It was ouded out to the max. Yeah. Like them ones, like they walk past you and 10 minutes later you're still like... Damn, that's what money smells like, isn't it? That smells good. So no joking, in front of me, Alexander Usyk, Dillian White, Conor Benn was there with Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. Can you name some more boxers for me? I'll tell you if they're there.
But you also didn't you have like Devin Haney, Conor McGregor.
Devin Haney was there. Conor McGregor was there. Yeah.
Terence
Crawford was there. Yeah. Who's another British boxer that I haven't mentioned?
Tyson Fury is also there.
Tyson Fury was there, and Tommy as well.
Was,
yeah.
From when I was, because I watched it on TV, but it was quite jokes because Tommy was sitting
a few rows behind.
Yeah.
He was a bit closer to where I was, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we could get up and walk around a bit, so we could go and look at their bit as well. Rio Ferdinand was there. Anton Ferdinand was there as well. And I'd done some work with his brother a few years ago, which was cool. Who else was there? Chisora was there as well. Boy. Got so much love. He got so much.
I've got bare love for Del Boy.
Yeah.
What a ledge.
So he came in. He done it. Do you know what I always remember about Derek Chisora? Is he the guy that said in a face to face like I'm gonna go through you like the runs? I think he said so like I'm gonna go through you like you've taken a laxative. And everyone was like, what? And in a way I was like, that's hilarious, but I'm also like, that's fucking scary, bro. But yeah, so he was there. I mean, do you know what was interesting about Usyk? And I know it's quite obvious because you're in the know, but he's a cruiserweight that's come up to heavyweight, right? Mm-hmm. He looks... If you were going to ask me to pick the person in the room that I think could beat everyone up...
It's not going to be him.
Respectfully, it didn't look like him. He looked so relaxed. He like had jewelry. Like I've never seen him with like jewelry and sunglasses on and stuff. He's chilling, rolled with a really light entourage. Yeah. It didn't look like...
He's a low-key bro, isn't it? He's a low-key down-to-earth bro, as far as what I've heard.
Yeah. From what I saw, he was
very
chill.
Humble.
Baby Spice was there. So when she was up on the camera, they played, Emma Bunton, but Baby Spice, they played Wannabe. Guy Ritchie
Guy
was there because he helped to direct some of the promo for the fight. Like,
there was the advert.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, the advert kind of creeps me out.
Yeah.
I don't really like it.
Sweet Caroline advert. They played it.
comes in at like a 10 out of 10 on a cringe level. Like I struggled to watch it more from the cringe.
Yeah.
Like I understood what they were trying to achieve, but I was like, oh, you
took a sweet song and you what was it? Get Out. You know, like the Get Out film, like Sweet Caroline.
But when some of the boxers are singing, it's just a little bit cringy.
And they're like meant to play parodies of like boxers, aren't they? Like one's kind of meant to look like AJ or whatever like that. But yeah, man, I think Guy Ritchie directed.
Wait. Were you saying they meant to look like them?
I think they're meant to look. Was it actually them though?
Yeah.
No way.
It is, bruv. It's all of the boxers from the whole card. It's AJ singing, bro. That's why it was.
So
that's
Saudi money will really make everyone sing like a bird, bro. Make everyone do what they do.
It was everyone.
Wow.
Yeah. The only Donny that I felt from that came out of it without having to do anything that was a little bit was Hamza Shiraz, because he just had like a proper low key bit and like. That was
I didn't realise it was actually them, you know.
Yeah,
right, there we go. Yeah, directed by Guy Ritchie. So Guy Ritchie's just chilling there in the hot seat. Yeah, like which is just like mad. Noel Gallagher came and performed 3 songs.
No, Liam.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Liam. Sorry, Liam Gallagher. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Rock and roll.
For anyone who doesn't, he did a rock and roll, Supersonic, and Cigarettes and Alcohol. I actually personally, I don't know what other people think. I thought it was an amazing performance. I'm just putting it out there. Like I listened to his performance and I was like, yo, that sounded amazing live.
That's right.
Whilst not being live.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm hearing it through the TV, but it's live. And
it's alright.
He got like there was bare hate for it, and I was thinking, this is people going, I'm selling my tickets for the Oasis reunion now. Rare. So I don't know.
I mean, I'm not really into.
I was going to say it's not really your kind of music.
I was more into what Oasis put together than any of this. Like
no, but they were all Oasis songs.
Yeah,
that he sang.
Yeah. But like when they're together doing their thing, I'd be more into that vibe, like the What's the Story, Morning Glory kind of energy of them. So, but to have just like Liam by himself, I feel like that's a bit of a.
Can I ask what did it feel like live?
It was alright.
It was just alright. I
think people were more into the boxing. Yeah, honestly, it was like people were waiting for Sweet Caroline.
Yeah,
it felt like people just waiting to see it, or Free From Desire. It was just felt like they wanted the boxing. It was cool. A couple of people were like doing that, like no, whatever. But they just
it was more for me. It was more like I thought that his voice sounded really good live. But again, I thought his performance. But a lot of people hated on it, and everyone's
he just sounded how he usually sounds, innit? And like did that thing where he had his hands behind his back and
and he but that's Liam,
his thing, innit?
I tell you what. I was joking about this the other day, but do you reckon, that Liam, when he's just like at home on his J's, he just always has that bravado? Like my man gets up from bed and walks to the toilet, like, fucking have some of that. Son.
Yeah.
Do you know, he has that like
pisses in the shower, fucking rock and roll, mate.
Do you reckon he never turns off? He's just got that bravado all the time because
So he goes to his coffee machine and it has like single espresso, double espresso. He goes fucking rock and roll, presses double espresso.
Because I know that, I mean, I just find it quite funny.
What do you think of the most rock and roll things? It says like, you get me, looks at the recycling bin, looks at the normal bin, takes a cardboard box, fucking rock and roll, puts it in a normal bin, fuck off. Oh man, I reckon I don't know, bruv. I don't know. It must be hard work to be like that full time.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
That is hard work, bruv. To be fucking that rock and roll all day long. And sometimes you just got to roll with it.
I feel like he's a little bit more. If anyone can see it, I'm doing like the wide boy. I'm doing like the wide boy shoulders.
The shoulders where you kind of like popping forward and back.
Like he's just, you know what I mean? He's just always got that. He's just always got that about him. I've always feel like Noel was a bit more chill and. Well, I hope that the reunion gigs that goes well. But.
Yeah, Liam's a bit more electric. If he's a woman, I'd say she's electric, but I won't say. I slipped in a roll with it as well. You let me know.
I missed that.
That's right.
That's a good one because that's like a boxing thing.
Yeah, let's roll with the punches. I felt like people were there to watch boxing, and they had a little soupçon of Oasis. You get me? So it was
just more like just because it sounded good good coming through the TV, but it might not. All good. I have heard that the Wembley acoustics are not that great either.
It sounded okay.
For like concerts and stuff.
Yeah, it sounded okay. Open air, so maybe we lose some of the sound through the ceiling, which is a thing. It's nice.
What was the atmosphere like?
Buzzing, bro. honestly, I'm up for going for boxing again.
Yeah.
Even if I'm in the nosebleeds. I felt the energy, like Sweet Caroline, that song now it has had a resurgence above any kind of resurgence ever. People were ready. Even when they played the Guy Ritchie version, when it's Sweet Caroline, audience were going, so that was happening.
It literally now, it's crazy because it's like, it's become, what would you say? It's become ubiquitous with boxing. Like if you think of boxing, you think of Sweet Caroline as the boxing song. It's kind of mad. And I'm like, why did I actually looked this up before and I've completely forgotten. Like a couple of years ago, I looked up. I was like, why is this song?
Who brought it back? Was it Fury that brought it back?
I can't even remember, man.
Yeah.
Might have to look this up.
That I feel like
Again.
it's become one of our national anthems.
It has. It fully has.
Yeah, because even in football, they sing Sweet Caroline as well.
Any chance.
event, any chance. Yeah. Any group of
It's
like over 1,000 people.
like at any point when people are all singing the same thing at the same time, there's just there's a group energy that comes from it. Do you know what I mean?
It's a great song, bro.
And it's a good song.
It's a great song. But yeah, and also like the production value, they just put some money in. I got it about 8. So I saw the last undercard, which was good. But then like...
Hey, you know, this is the way I feel. That guy I mentioned, Hamza Shiraz, I feel like you got to see a Donny who's going to go to the top.
Yeah, man. He boxed well. He
Yeah,
boxed
man.
well.
He's
Beat
got-
the dude up, bro.
Yeah, but it's just the way that his technique, he's got piston-like punches. You don't even see him coming. It's like he doesn't telegraph them. I think he's going to be a top boxer.
Nice.
Soon
Quite
come.
tall as well.
Big dude for middleweight.
Tall guy, yeah.
And
yeah.
not skinny.
Nah. Something
Like,
to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, something to him. Yeah, and then it was like for the final fight, like obviously AJ and I can't call him Triple D, Daniel Dubois. There was like fireworks, there was pyrotechnics.
Oh,
like,
I
they
saw
really
those.
went
Yeah, I
for
saw
it.
they had like
Yeah,
the dancers with like
like
spinning the fire and all
stuff
that.
like that. Yeah, man. So
Was that quite cool in the stadium?
it was cool. It was more for TV because it was at ground
I
level.
was about to say,
Yeah,
not that
yeah.
many people could have seen it, and it was like quite away from the other side of the ring.
Yeah. It was a big ring walk, and because of where we were sat, it was like a 50-50 chance they were going to come in from one side or the other, and I stood at the wrong side, but I still saw them because of how close I was. I could just wait for them to come to the ring.
Wait, I'm not gonna lie.
So crack on.
That was a long. Half of my stamina would have been gone by the time I got
That's
to the
a long
ring.
walk.
It was a long ring walk,
Yeah.
innit?
Glad thing Wilder weren't like no one had a Wilder type outfit where did he wear like a mask and a cloak? He said, yeah, it made me tired.
Bruv, it weighed something ridiculous, and like he was saying, yeah, it made him tired, and I was like,
Just don't wear it, bro. Yeah. AJ when he whipped off his flipping cape, like or whatever he was wearing, his overtop. Oh, I swear to God, I heard a collective from the audience, and I looked to my left. Shout out to Julie who invited me out there. I was like, he's all right, right? You like him, yeah? And she was like looking around, going, look at him, look at him all, like, and everyone was like that. And then he got beat up, which was mad. But a lot of people are saying, oh, flipping hell, AJ lost. I'm like, but you know that the guy that beat him is from Greenwich. Like, it's staying in London.
yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
like, be sad, but we kept it here in the UK.
This is the thing, right? Is that AJ became the face of UK boxing and has been for the longest time, and yeah, this is probably more Daniel's time now. So.
Yeah, he's 27. I can't believe he's 27, bro. He looks older, man. He looks like hardback. He looks like he's
hard paper round though, and get punched in the face.
yeah, man.
Do you know what I mean?
He's also dealt out a few.
But he's also what?
He's actually dealt out a few as well, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like, but he has had his face proper smashed up. He almost lost his eye, innit?
Yeah, against Joe Joyce. Yeah, he got a double fracture of his orbital bone.
That is not nice. But he boxed really well. It looked like he boxed really. Again, I don't know much about boxing. It looked good.
Really good performance, man, from Dubois. Like carried out his game plan to the T. I will say this, right? I still thought it was an exciting fight, and I'm glad that Joshua did come back and and hurt Daniel Dubois, rocked him, gave him a couple of haymakers before he got knocked out. But there was questions to be asked. People were calling Dubois a quitter because of the Usyk fight and the Joe Joyce fight.
When because he took a knee, just to be clear, he took a knee. I don't watch the video if you're squeamish like me. He took a knee and said, "I'm stopping now because my eye is."
Yeah,
not
he took a
right.
knee, and afterwards they actually looked at it and they were like, his retina could have got detached. So you're like, fight another day, but people are like, wow, I won't tap, I won't do this, I'll just, like go out on my sword and rare. But
good for you, gang.
Yeah. So I think he answers some questions. I will say this. The only thing is I feel shortchanged because AJ tactically was really, really poor. He just came out with his hands by his waist against the massive puncher with his chin up in the air, didn't even circle out sideways. He just was backing up in a straight line and then not expecting to get a punch in the face. I'm like, I just wanted to see like a good performance from him, a good performance from Dubois, and then like having seen a really good fight. And Dubois bought it, and AJ didn't bring his A game at all, made a lot of mistakes. I don't know why his corner is not like, yo, like shouting at him, hands up. Against Ruiz in the second fight, his hands up here on near his temples. And this, bro, they were like under his pecs, like they were just
really,
yeah, man. And
I don't know, man. I don't know enough about boxing, but I do know that he looked like he weren't a better fighter on the night, bro.
He could have still knocked Dubois out because he caught him with a really good straight, and then he tried to pounce on him.
We heard some of the power punches connect. The knockout punch didn't. I didn't hear it.
Yeah,
I was openly said I didn't hear it, but then when I looked at the replays, it makes sense because it wasn't a massive perfect punch.
Timing, precision, yeah.
So what it was, and this is for me, and not a boxing expert, is you see AJ pull back to deliver what would be a fucking 10 out of 10 if it connected, a punch that we would feel at home. And Dubois, in the time that AJ's fist is going back, just tucks in a little cheeky uppercut, hook, kind of right hook.
It's
to the perfect part of his jaw.
Kind of a right hook. Right.
Yeah, kind of in between it, like to the bottom of his jaw, and it was a total knockout. Like there was no counter or anything.
It's the first time I've seen AJ hurt so much that he is physically unable to get up, because he really, like, props to him, he really tried to get up. Like he really did. It wasn't, some people you see like they're pretending to get up. They don't want any more smoke.
Yeah.
He was wobbled, and you could see like he was physically trying his best to make it up, and massive props for that.
He was telling his body to get up, but it wasn't right. So they stopped it at the right time. And again, he's not old, but he's getting older. I kind of like, this is the thing, like I think he's done his thing for boxing now. I don't want him to continue doing this. I don't want us to keep seeing him get hit like that again, because we just don't need to see that nowadays. Do you know what I mean?
It's a tough one, because it's like, even when he lost his belts to Ruiz, he's still a draw. People still want to see him. That will wane, obviously, and losses expedite that time frame. But to be honest, compared to Dubois, he's been hit a fair amount of times, and he still looks pretty fresh.
He's good looking, bro. Good looking, bro. He's looking young, isn't it? Yeah, it's the Nigerian genes, bruv. The young powered shoulders out there, bruv. Yeah, but he looked well, and he did what he recovered and had a proper interview afterwards as well. How you can answer questions after you just been knocked out is mad, bro. Because I'm just thinking, all I'm thinking is, I just got fucking knocked out, bruv. I've lost some seconds there. Because when you get knocked out, you lose a bit of time, don't you? Because and the man's going, so what do you think about da-da-da? I'll be like, bruv, did you not just see what happened? Can you give me a break? But yeah, he did the press conference, spoke. Daniel was just like, had a plan, won. Like,
let's put it out here. He's a much better boxer than he is,
talker,
like charisma-wise. Yeah. Like he's not. It's not his wheelhouse. It may be a bit more media training, or maybe he's just like, no, I don't. This is not me. I don't do this.
Do you know what though? I think the less he says, the scarier he becomes. Like he said something like,
like the silent assassin.
I think he just said something. This is me like paraphrasing. Like one interview, he said like, anyone can get it. God be with you, and walked away. And I was like,
God bless you.
God bless you, innit? God bless you. And I'm like,
God bless you.
That is actually quite scary,
isn't it?
That
mystery.
Yeah. Because it's like, he sounds like one of those like anti-villains, innit? You get me, like that. That's like, or the anti-heroes that like kills people. Is like, God bless you. You know what I mean? Like,
on his post-match interview, like every time that it came to him, he just said like 3 words, and then was like, God bless you all. God bless you.
He was happy. He was happy. You could see he was trying to play it. He was playing it cool, but you are
you've just defended your. You know what? Let's be honest.
You feel like you've earned it.
he legitimized his standing as the IBF champion, because prior to that, it was a belt that had been relinquished. He fought for a vacant belt. You're always going to get shade for, are you not a real champion? He's defended his belt against a former undisputed champion of the world. Like, big up props.
So he's a real deal, and he's official. He's in the conversation, and I guess because of the way that these Saudi men are running fights, we're going to see him fight someone. I think it's Fury next. They said on the day they were saying they were saying it. They said it should be Fury next or someone else. So
I think Dubois Fury would be a good fight. Well, probably at this moment in time, he fought Usyk and actually gave Usyk some problems. I just think now momentum in heavyweight boxing is key. Because at the end of the day, it's like one punch. So your mentality, your confidence, like in other weight classes, especially the lower weight classes, you can box yourself into the fight. Do you know what I mean? It's not really likely that you're going to get a one bang and you're going to be Sparko. Yeah. Whereas in you blink and you're
right. You know what? We won't talk too much more about the boxing after this, but I just realised Alexander Usyk went 12 rounds with AJ, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so AJ took him to 12 rounds and Dubois done him in 5. That opens up the conversation.
It does, but then Ngannou went the distance with Fury and Joshua knocked him out in 1 round. So
interesting.
Styles. What's the old saying? Like, styles makes fights. So it's kind of like, the fact that AJ went 12. I mean, Usyk went. Did he go full distance? No, he went, I think, 9 rounds against Dubois, 9 or 10 rounds against Dubois. Before, I think that would be a good rematch in the future. But against Fury, that would be a good fight, Fury Dubois.
Yeah, man, it'd be interesting. And I don't know if Fury can get under his skin, because Fury does like to mess around, but Dubois a bit like, no, we're just gonna have a punch up, bro.
Or Dubois might be like, I don't understand, bro. Just get in the ring, I'll punch you up.
God bless you all. So from that, Sean, we've spoken about that bit of killing time to a game that is about to come out on consoles. It's about to drop, but it's
October.
been on PC.
I don't know the date. It's specifically October.
I can find out for you if you don't mind saying some words. While I
shall say
Googling.
some words. We are talking about the. I have been waiting for a boxing game since Fight Night Champion, which, if you wouldn't mind, be looking up for me in a moment to see when that game out.
You have to say some more words, big man.
I'm going to say something like 10, 12 years ago. 10 years ago, maybe more.
Initial release 2010, PlayStation 3, Fight Night Champion. With Andre Bishop.
Yeah.
2011. You're getting old, boy. Time is traveling fast. It's 15 years, big man. 13 years, big man.
Wow.
So you've been waiting for a long time. It's been a long time.
How is it? No, I don't beat to step 2. Come on, bro. How is it, with all the games makers out there, it's taken 13 years for a boxing game. 13 years, man. Okay, we've had UFC games in the interim. Big up UFC for that. How have we not had a decent boxing game since? Like, we used to play all the fight nights back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, even if people
try and batter each
even
other
if people
all the time.
came over, even if certain Donis came over that they're not into video games much, you'll have a tear up in it.
We're having a go.
Yeah, standard.
We're having a
Try
go.
and box man up. Like, let's do this.
If I'm honest, Sean, I think it could be a money thing, because I was asking you.
Oh yeah, you were asking me about the fact that how they got all the licensed fighters.
Because Undisputed, we'll get into the game probably a bit. It's got loads of current high profile fighters from across all of boxing, male and female, all the different divisions and stuff, and whatever organizations and stuff, champions and that. Plus, it's got like Muhammad Ali, I think, is an unlockable character. It's gonna have more unlockable characters. I said, and I was like, Sean, how the hell could they like make this happen? Because I feel like it's just not just cost, but a logistical nightmare. But then I realized money does save things, because Riyadh Season
is sponsored by Riyadh Season,
who are the Saudi-owned promoters that have put together the AJ fight. Have a official. What does it say? Is it say an official sponsor?
Yeah, official sponsors or
a premier partner, which I think they've gone in and said, right, we want Tyson Fury's likeness, and Tyson's gone, well, it's going to cost that much. He's gone, okay. Well, actually, it's going to cost more. All right, and can you come in on Monday? Like that's what I think they've done.
It wasn't something that I'd like really thought about, but I've also the old Fight Night games. They also had all of the fighters, bro. Like the Fight Night, the old Fight Nights had all of the historic fighters, and you know, I was it all, but most.
I think people are aware now of how big gaming is. I think people realise now that there's big money in gaming. Gaming back then was seen as a great thing, but I think people understand gaming is probably it is the biggest media format in the world right now. Easy. Like, what other media unit do you sell at £60, £60 upwards per unit?
But this is
hard to pirate.
You know, the maddest thing about it is that nowadays the initial cost of the game is a small fraction, small fraction of where companies are making their money. So, for instance, the ridiculous, let's say you get so FIFA's out next week, for instance, right? If you get the Ultimate Edition, it's like 90 quid. And you know what I mean? You're like, bloody hell. But that is small fry to the amount of money, the in-app purchases, the in-game purchases that people are spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds, thousands of pounds on packs and this and that. I don't get involved in any of that stuff in it, but that's now like the same like GTA in it. Like how long GTA 5 has been out for longest time.
When I last checked in the supermarket, it was still in the top 20.
I believe it's the highest grossing game ever.
Has to be easy.
It's been out for what, more than 10 years?
September 2013 it came out. So it's 11 years old. The game has been, so forget the add-on, Sean. The game has been consistently in the top 20 for 11 years.
Yeah. But that's because they keep releasing new content and give you more missions to do, heists, you know, new vehicles and guns and whatever it is, and more content and whatnot.
But the amazing thing is my point is that just the standard unit of the game, all the work has been done for that. They've been making profit off that for 11 years, bro.
I know.
That's
and
mental.
People are still buying it, bro.
It's the Sweet Carolina games.
People are still buying it. But people are still buying it now.
Yeah,
people are like, I might, you know, or people are buying it again.
Yeah, I did.
I bought I had it on X console.
Yeah.
And I used to play it, and now like I bought it on PC or I bought it on whatever because I wanted to play. Because let's be honest, probably one of the greatest story modes of any game I've ever played in my life.
At the time, groundbreaking, amazing. Still, you know what?
It holds up now.
I could go back and there you go. Why is it still selling? There you go. I've just said I could go back and play it again. Yeah. I downloaded it to play a modded version online on Steam, and I probably would now if I was given loads of time and had a bit of time off to play gaming specifically. It'd be one of those games I'd like to pick up and just do the whole story mode, because I did the whole 3 story modes of that game, if you know what I mean. Yeah, man. So
I remember. I snapped the ligaments in my ankle playing football, and the game came out like 2 days later.
Your ankle knew,
and I was like, "This is a good time to be." I was just like propped up with my foot like raised for like 2. I just clocked the whole thing. I was like, and honestly, if no one's ever tried it, but if you previously the online was really, really bad when it came to trying to connect with other people. The experience of when you're connected and everything, it was a fun game, but it was really, really poor. They've pretty much sorted that out.
The internet's caught up with that, innit, now?
Yeah, probably. But the amount of things that you can do, and it is if you go in with like, you know, it's like 4 of you, and you can do all the heists together and all that stuff. It's a good laugh. It's a real good laugh.
Maybe we'll talk about that when before the new GTA comes out. But Undisputed, the game that we played, so it's out now on Steam, and what they've done is
early release
on Steam.
It came out, I think it was January 23.
Yeah,
as early release. It's still early release at the moment.
And they've worked on it a lot now, and I feel the fact that it's coming to console, I mean, they've built it to a certain level where they're like, we can take it.
Console games have to reach, like, you can buy PC games which are like, buy this completed game, and it's like 30% complete, whereas, especially AAA games, but console games, like, they are the finished article prior to usually.
And usually like, I've nerded out a bit on it, and you can see how they've improved this game. And I've got to say, I've come to it now to play it. I played it a bit when I first got the release, but I just didn't feel like trying it again, but I just came back to it now that they've added all the bits in. and it feels like a much more solid boxing. I'm going to say off the jump, guys, definitely do the tutorial more than once if you're not good at boxing games. And actually, before we talk about it, can we just talk about a few more of the boxers that we have in there? Because they have loads from fighter roster. Yeah.
Well, if you're talking about the old school fighters, you've got Joe Frazier, you've got Sugar Ray Leonard, you've got Sugar Ray Robinson, you've got Muhammad Ali. You don't have the people that I will tell you that are missing at this moment in time are Mike Tyson's not there, Floyd Mayweather's not there. They're the two that I immediately saw.
Frank Bruno.
Yeah,
Frank Bruno's in the game. He's in the game.
Frank Bruno. You got your Nigerian brother as well.
Adelaide. Yeah. Deontay Wilder.
Although I will say this, Deontay Wilder's like he's like 88 or something. Like his overall, he's like 88, and then Frank Bruno's like 81, and I'm like,
yeah, that's a shame. They don't rate Frank Bruno. My dad said that Frank Bruno, Dubois reminds him of Frank Bruno in terms of his demeanor. Doesn't say much.
100%.
David Adelaide is in there. My guy out there. I will say though, his trim. We need to adjust that slightly for the game. I don't know. It's a little bit. His trim ain't like that in real life. They need to. It's a bit.
That's not.
We need to adjust that. But that's a small.
Who's that in the middle? Is that Katie Taylor?
Terry Harper. Rocky Marciano's in it.
Yeah, Rocky Marciano.
Joe Frazier, I think you said. Sugar Ray Leonard, you already said. Like massive roster, and I was like, okay, right. This sounds a little bit like this could be Ocean's 11. Johnny Nelson's in it. It sounds like could be a bit like Ocean's 11. Could be great. Could be bad though. When you have all of that star power, sometimes it can overshadow the actual game itself. But I did the training session first time and learnt to play using buttons. You can only use it with a control pad wherever you play it on PC, whatever. Did it with the buttons. I felt clunky. I went back and I remembered playing Fight Night. I might be wrong. Did you used to play Fight Night with joysticks or buttons?
It was one where like I would flick between the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone's looking at the buttons, you're pressing too much, switch to the joysticks. Yeah, and I went back and I did it with both the joysticks, so like the left and the right sticks, and I felt like it was a lot more fluid. Like I was I felt now I could be like, instead of, what do I do? I was more like jab, hook. Oh shit, accidentally I did a hook, but I meant to, it was at least it's the right hand, and I got into it, and I started turning the graphics up slowly on the PC in here. And I got to say, this is why I'm excited for consoles, because if it renders nice on console, when you hit a body shot, you actually see the meat in it. You see the fist mark in their body. You see
that, and you kind of see the wiggle of the skin and the highest bad. Yeah.
And like the boxers move differently if they're slightly tired. So when they're sprightly, they're a bit more on their toes. But if they're tired,
there's also you probably haven't seen it, but if you go down, and I've only seen this once, so I would have to check this out, but I believe if you go under 40% 40% stamina, your fighter will just walk flat-footed.
Yeah.
Because it happened to me once, and I was at 38% stamina, so I think that's a thing.
Yeah, I've done that because I didn't know what I was doing, so I was just trying to throw. Throw 7 million power punches, and then wondering why it was hardly even connecting.
I will say this: you can play it arcadey if you want, because when you're playing against a friend, you can turn the damage multiplier up, so you can play it arcade. You can turn the damage multiplier to like 10, and like a couple of punches is going to knock you out.
Heavy.
But the game is definitely it's a tactical game. It is quite technical. Like you have to, you know what I mean? You have to like look after your stamina. You have to figure out a game plan. You got like, stick the jab, move off it. Do you know what I mean?
It rewards you for it though.
Yeah.
Because I just had my first fight before Sean came over where I got beaten up and had to adjust my tactics, and I realized what I needed to do to win the fight was really just a jab hook. Then a little low jab hook, like just go up and down a little bit, switch it to the left and right a bit more, and move in and out. That's all I did. But like, it's the way they've got, the hardest thing in boxing is because we're not just playing Street Fighter. Boxing is a 3-dimensional sport, innit? Like it's proper. So much is going on: footwork, arms, distance, like direction of height. All that stuff can adjust, and then you have that going on with the person that you're fighting and the person that's fighting you is doing it too. So you've got all these variables,
loads of angles,
and I feel like they've managed to. It doesn't feel clunky. Like I feel like it's very easy to fuck up a game like this, bruv.
Do you know what? It's not a super fast-paced game, but I think that serves it well.
Yeah, man.
I will say this: I still think there are. I'm going to put it out there. I really enjoyed it. I ended up playing I created a character. I went through the career mode.
Yeah.
And
did you become
I started
undisputed
it.
champion of the world?
I did become undisputed champion of the world. It was. I'll just say this: I started a career, and then I ended up restarting a career because quite early doors, I realized that there's some things that you actually want to do right at the beginning with your stats.
Can you do it without? No, you can give us a guide for that. I was gonna say without spoiling it.
Yeah. So I would say there are certain stats that when you train in the gym during your career mode, you can pick a load of different activities to carry out, and depending on those activities, it will boost your different stats, right? There are certain stats that you can't train in the gym to boost. You can only improve them by completing activities, or like it will say you need to get knocked down and get up in 18 fights, and then it will give you like +1 courage.
So
right?
you could have just added that at the start.
So at the start, you can do a maximum of, I think it starts at 40. You can do a maximum up to 60 for a single stat.
Yeah.
So I put my courage up to 60 because I realized there is no way of improving it. So even after playing it for a little bit, all the rest of my stats were like 75, and then it was still there at like 45.
So maybe that's something.
And you can't get up.
Maybe
you can't get up more than once. If your courage isn't good enough, you can't get up more than once.
Well, they need to maybe work that out.
Yeah.
Maybe they can patch that in, because they are actively trying to improve the game. They said they've adjusted blocking, punches. It feels like a smoother experience now. There was about to say there's like 2 more other stats I can't remember off the top of my head that you need to like just whack up, because it's just very difficult to raise those during the game. Maybe I'll do I'm playing as Alexander Usyk at the moment, trying to do a career, but when I do my build a known character, which you can do, I'll do that. And you can play online as well.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I've not seen any, but you mentioned to me another thing that they think they should build in cutscenes. You're saying there's no there's a lack of.
Okay, so like the things that at the moment I think the game's missing, right? So you've got no replays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, replays. That was it.
Yeah, there's no replays. There's no replays. I looked in the menu and there's like an experimental replay, but you can't, or I couldn't figure out how to. It's like grayed out. So I'm guessing maybe when they release it fully, that will be one of the things that they include. Things like if you win the belt, there's no cutscene of you like being handed the belt or celebrating. It's just like it just cuts and it just goes belt 1, and then you have a picture of a belt. Yeah.
You know, when you played Mario Kart 64, we watched that whole cutscene when you got the trophy, right? It would be nice if because they've got like, you can customize your like fighting style, your celebrations, your taunts and stuff like that. You should be able to customize a win, like, so that you could either like snatch the belt off the person that was holding it, or take it respectfully and hold it up to like an evil win, or like a nice win. That's what I would like.
Sometimes the crowd is a bit flat.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't quite like amp you up, but then in certain fights it's better, so it's kind of weird.
Have you played with headphones on yet? Because I've played it on the TV here, and then I put cans on, and like when you hit body shots, you hit ooh, ooh, like that kind of stuff. Can you I've knocked people out, but I've not done a lot of like grueling fights and held a lot of damage. Do you start to look beaten up? Because boxers are a bit funny about that stuff. You don't really want to have yourself depicted, like car companies like that as well. You don't want to have them depicted as too destroyed. So it's really nice when they let you mash up a car in a game. Can you get weighed in? Like you get mashed up?
Yeah, swelling, cuts, etc.
Okay, cool.
For sure.
Yeah, man, I liked it. I mean, for me, I think one thing to bear in mind before you get I think it's a sim. It's a boxing
more of a sim
than
an
arcade.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like someone still needs to bring out Ready to Rumble for a laugh, innit?
That
was a classic. Yeah, something like that. Ooh, that kind of stuff.
Willie Nelson.
Yeah, Willie Nelson. Afro Thunder. Come on, man. Shit. Michael Jackson was in a version of it as well.
Oh my days.
As a bonus character.
That was a great game.
Yeah, man, I'm not gonna go for a Diddy joke. That's too easy. Yeah. But yeah, man, no, I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm gonna do a bit more of career mode. The console codes are coming for us, so it'd be good to know what your experience is like on Xbox, because hopefully there shouldn't be too much difference, because I use an Xbox controller with the PC. But when we get it on Xbox, maybe we can just drop a little bit of fun, say what it's like.
Yeah.
Maybe put it on and play it with some of the lads over or whatever. Thing is, though, it's not arcadey enough for me to be like, here you go, mate, jump in, and you might win. You kind of have to know what you're doing. Like, you get pasted otherwise. So, say like our boy, the tongue chewer, who's I think he's decent at gaming, right? We could throw him the control pad, but we need to give him 20 minutes by himself.
So I'll say this: I played it with a friend of mine the other day, yeah, and it probably only took a couple of fights. You know what was the funniest thing that he struggled with? He couldn't get up.
Oh yeah.
So there's two lines, right? Or we'll call them. They're two long kind of boxes, and within those long boxes, there's like a shaded area which moves up and down, and within the whole box, there's another line, and you have to get the line into the shaded box, and it does use like both sides of your brain at the same time. So you almost have to like stare into the abyss and allow your subconscious to do it. That's the way I found to do it. And if you try and do one at a time, your brain can't, literally your brain can't do it.
It's like trying to pat your head and scratch your head and pat your tummy at the same time. Yeah. It's one of those weird ones. But Sean,
just 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
It took about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we had a fairly competitive like fight. All I clocked is I ended up picking a fighter that was like 70, and he ended up picking a fight that was like 85, closer to 90, and then it was like they were like a proper like close fight. So you can even the scores with using a disparity in the fighters. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, do you know what? I like the fact that it's pick up and put downable. It's pick upable and put downable, because you can just go and have a fight or two and then save it and crack on.
I didn't ever do that. Every time I did like one or two, I got roped in, and then next minute I'm like, it's like 1 a.m.
And it was like next day, why are you so tired? Oh mate, I just trying to become champion of the world, isn't it?
Punching up, man.
Yeah, champion of the world. But I don't know what the news is on new characters on the fighter roster. We will see. I can let you know.
Did you get release date?
The official console release date is 11th of October. Okay. So our codes will be coming at some point soon for console.
If you're into boxing, if you enjoyed previous boxing games, etc. We've been starving because it's been 13 years, but I would honestly, if it was a disappointment, I would be the first one to be like,
bruv, we're under no obligation to say whether we like this game or not.
I'm going to be, and it's going to be one that's going to get saved on my PC and Xbox, and when people come over, there's going to be some hands being thrown. And
definitely. I wonder if there'll be crossplay.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Should be. It should be able to, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, we got bounced now because we got to do our Pundalicious episode, which we've never called it that before, but we have to put that in the Pundalicious, baby. I've been Marcus Bronzy.
I've been Sean.
This is How to Kill an Hour, at How to Kill an Hour on all socials. Thanks to everyone who's been getting in contact with us, saying us they like the show, saying hi and stuff like that. Oh, I forgot to do shouts this week. Esma on IG said, you guys rock, especially Marcus and Sean. I'm your biggest fan. There we go. Sorry, Richie, who stepped into the show. But appreciate you too, man. We'll do more shout outs on the next episode. Big up your shoes and socks. Peace. Heavy.